Hello, my name is Dylan O'Brien. Welcome to the digital presentation of my honors thesis project. I chose to study nonverbal communication between a choral conductor and a choir. I chose this topic because it integrated psychology, education, and music through a challenging yet exciting experience. I worked with my faculty advisor, Sarah Williams, to study advanced choral conducting techniques. The conductor is the only silent performer in a choir. They send messages about entrances and exits, dynamics, and emotion, all without saying anything. The conductor's hand signals, facial expression, and body language all drastically impact the sound of the choir. This sends a vastly different message to a choir than this. The size of my pattern and how I use my body help guide the choir as they create their sound.
A choral conductor is basically the glue to an entire choir. Even throughout this experience, if there wasn't a video of Dylan conducting, it would be nearly impossible for all of us to sing at the same time. From my experience, I think the role can be split up into three parts. The first one would be entrances and exits. So the conductor is responsible for starting the choir, but then cutting off the choir together. And as Sarah would say, the difference between a good and a great choir are the entrances and exits. The second part would be keeping tempo. When there's a huge group of us singing the same song, it would be very easy to speed up or slow down, but having the conductor there provides the steady beat that we need to follow and make us sound like a united front. And then the third part, which is probably the most important part, is that the conductor has the ability to add movement and life to the piece. So that would be through dynamics. If the conductor was conducting with big arms, that probably means forte versus small arms is piano. They can hold out notes longer than originally written to add a little more movement to the piece. And basically the emotion that the conductor is portraying is going to radiate into the entire choir, and the conductor has the power to make a song great.
Being a choral conductor is an extremely difficult job. I worked really hard to be able to conduct the pieces I selected. Throughout my time in the Marist Education Department, I have learned the importance of preparation for a lesson to be successful. You need to have a solid lesson plan. When teaching music, I had to take my preparation to the next level. I spent hours practicing my cues, cutoffs, and piano skills in order to teach effectively.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest parts about this entire project was the difference that Dylan has made in the past semester, I guess. I've worked with Dylan the past 4 years in different types of choirs and had different opportunities to see Dylan conduct, and this by far I've seen the most growth. Dylan has spent hours a week practicing and making sure that he is doing the best that he can so that we can do the best that we can. And when you see that work being put in by the conductor, it makes the choir want to work harder. So I'm so happy that I've been able to watch Dylan grow and to be along for this part of the ride. It's been a great ride.
On top of practicing these technical skills, I had to establish a connection with the choir. An effective teacher will engage their students and make them excited to learn. I had to get the choir excited about the music we were going to sing. So, I selected music from my choral experience throughout high school and college that inspired my love of choral music. I shared my stories with the choir to show them how much this music means to me. I used my passion to drive my instruction, and I believe my passion inspired the choir.
When we walked into rehearsal for the first time, it was something completely new. I had never worked with Dylan as a director before, and we'd never sung together as a group before. But the first song that we sang was Non Nobis Domine, and that is a song that we all have a special connection to. So once we started singing, it just clicked suddenly, and we're all focused on Dylan because he was so passionate in his conducting, and we all united together as a group. And suddenly I was gaining new perspectives of Non Nobis Domine, and I was learning and experiencing things that were brand new.
I formed a choir with 16 of my friends. Our goal was to perform a concert for the Marist community. For the first 7 weeks of the semester, we rehearsed and learned music completely independently. We learned the notes and rhythms for each of the 7 pieces, and we just started taking our musicality to the next level. We were on the cusp of creating something really special. And and then we got sent home. And that was really hard. Everything about this project was a dream come true. I loved every minute that I dedicated to it. Having to complete it from home presented a new challenge, but I wasn't willing to give up on this project. Our group formed a special bond from working together. I tried my best to preserve that connection even though we were separated. I reached out, I shared the stories I wanted to share, and we created a new plan together. We decided to create a virtual choir.
So this project's transition to a virtual choir experience was honestly so much more unifying than I thought it was going to be, and that's all thanks to Dylan and the way that he, adapted his teaching style and changed his vision for this project to get done. There was one day where he decided to make a video of himself reading this children's book called Because, and this was about moments in a young musician's life that, eventually led her to fall in love with her craft and fall in love with music. And I think this was a really good way of connecting everyone in the choir and reminding us why we fell in love with what we do and why we love what we do. And I think we just all, after that, took this step towards seeing Dylan's project through to its completion.
I spent hours practicing and recording myself conducting for the virtual choir. It was a real challenge to conduct a choir that I could not hear or see. I had to conduct in complete silence, only audiating the sound of the choir in my head. We combined my conducting video with a recording of the piano accompaniment. Next, each member of the choir recorded themselves singing their part as they watched the video. Then, the video and audio of each member was compiled to form the final product. Unfortunately, we were not able to perform a full concert like we had hoped. However, I am proud to present our virtual choir to perform Non Nobis Domine by Dan Forrest.
I'm Sarah Williams, and I am the proud professor of Dylan O'Brien's senior honors thesis, communicating nonverbal communication through the art of choral singing. Oh, cool. Dylan came to me in the fall of 2019 with a very robust idea. He wanted to do nonverbal communication, choose a choir. He chose really robust literature for this choir, and I thought, okay, if anybody can pull this off, it's going to be Dill, because he's highly organized, he's incredibly resourceful, he pays attention to detail, and that as a nonverbal communicator is really important. And the biggest asset that Dill had going for him was he's a completely solid musician. He knows this craft. So I said, yes, let's do this. My challenges were teaching Dylan how to do advanced choral conducting when he essentially had no prior knowledge. So we were going to have to fast forward. We're going to have to really work at this. How do we non-verbally communicate? We non-verbally communicate through our face, through our hands, through our body gestures, how much space we take up, how much energy we give. So that was where we got to at mid-semester, and then insert record scratch here, everything changed. Enter our new reality. In order to become successful, both Dylan and I were challenged with how to teach in a new forum, how to connect with our faces, but then also how do you connect virtually with your new choir? So we pared down his project. We pared it down to being successful at one tune that he and I are both emotionally connected to. And the result of that emotional connection came out beautifully. Now, it wasn't without trial. We struggled with, Dylan has had times of rigid hands. And so, Dylan, go help your mom fold the laundry with 2 eggs in your hands. That's going to soften. And if you ruin the laundry, you have to redo it. So don't break the eggs. There were new exercises. There were new ways to communicate. And I am so happy that he took on all of my challenges. Dylan, you're gonna do this. You're amazing at this. I'm so blessed to have taught you. You are a star, really just a rock star. You pulled this thing off, soup to nuts. Perfect.
Nothing can ever replace the connection that musicians feel when they create music together. But in a time where we are isolated from each other, we rose to the challenge and created music in a new way. This craft is part of who we are, and nothing can take that away from us. When this is all over, music will be there for us, and I cannot wait to share it with all of you. Thank you very much.